If you see a fly buzzing, don't mind because I don't even know where they came from. I had to bring them back. I tried to quick cough you guys and I couldn't. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to my witch obsession. And in today's Pick a Pumpkin reading, we will be asking the question, why do people feel threatened by you? Now, if you want to hear why I did this reading, then just listen to the ramble. But generally, what we're going to be looking at today is, why do people feel threatened by you? Why are people intimidated by you? What do they project on you? Kind of those vibes, why people start acting a specific way around you, if you will. But yeah, we have 4 groups here. We have group 1 with this brown pumpkin. We have group 2 with this kind of yellowish orangish pumpkin. We have group 3 with this white pumpkin. And then group 4 with this plain orange pumpkin. Yeah, if you have already chosen your pile, see you at your reading. Timestamps are in the description box below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which will also be linked down below. Other than that, see you at your reading. But if you'd like to sit and listen to me ramble for a little bit, then hi. Oh my gosh, you guys. This week has been a week. This life has been a life. I feel like I've been going through so much. And not like I'm going through the rakes, but more so I just feel like there's so many changes that have been happening. And I've just been so exhausted because I feel like I'm needed everywhere. I feel like as soon as one fire is put out, there's another one to put out. Or there's another thing to do, It's just... Sorry, somebody just texted me. Anyways, I'm really sorry if you guys have been messaging me or if you guys have been, anything. I've just been so busy and drained that I haven't been able to get around to replying at a reasonable time. Not to say that, if you purchase a reading, of course I'm not going to keep you waiting on that. That's rude AF. Not that, but it's just like, I don't know, I've been feeling super swamped lately, and I was honestly considering even filming tonight and posting on this Friday, but I really wanted to because I just feel motivated to it, and I don't know, I just felt like getting back into the swing of things or getting back into filming constantly, or at least posting at least once a week would put me in a good mood, and I do feel good about, talking to you guys again, and I don't know, I feel like this past few weeks have been really hectic for me. And today, the day I'm filming this, today is November 2nd. And my roommate just moved out today. And I was doing so much today. If you want to hear the nitty gritty of it, I do have a ramble channel, which will be linked down below. Just if you want to know more and more, because I don't want to take up too much time here. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the things that I've been going through lately have been just these culmination points of lessons I've been undergoing for the past few years, honestly. And it feels like it was kind of an ultimate test vibe, Because I really do feel like everything that's happened, especially because of eclipse season, it was really a vibe of it was going to happen, I feel like it wasn't circumstantial. I really do feel like it was gonna happen, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, chance meeting vibes or chance. No, it was scripted, this was part of the plan. And I just have been feeling really liberated by that, because it's just kind of, it's interesting to see all these culmination points, and interesting to see how much I've actually changed and how much I've actually grown. Because I feel like this past week I've had a lot of disagreements with people too, and I've been running into situations where I just kind of flee. Not because I'm scared or anything, but because I'm really not in the mood to be treated a certain way, And I know my intuition. I have never been wrong about these kind of things, and I feel good about sticking to my gut and standing my ground, whereas before I probably wouldn't have done that, I've also just been feeling really grateful because I'm kind of seeing because in retrospect, everything that's happened to me does make sense, you know? And I feel like that's why I've been feeling so grateful that I'm so privileged that I've even had things make sense to me, you know? Because I feel like a lot of the times I go through things and I'm like, what was that for, you know? But genuinely, I feel like this point, I'm looking back and it's just this sense of, wow, it really does all make sense, you know? That really was all meant to happen. Maybe not in the way that it did, but I am stubborn, and to my chagrin, the universe is just as stubborn, if not more. But anyways, I don't know. I've just, because especially when it comes to my relationships, I feel like my relationships have taken the absolute forefront of what is next to be scrutinized and what is next to be cleaned out properly. And also my living situation, just because I do have Saturn going through my 4th house. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But aside from all that, the reason I bring up relationships is because I'm starting to realize because I'm having a lot of people leave my life, and I'm really getting rid of people and really ending connections, and not like in a crazy person way, but more so in a way that they just no longer serve me, and they really don't do any good for me anymore. And consequently, I feel like that's been making so much room for other connections, obviously. And especially in my love life, I feel like I'm giving myself time, or I've been saying it is as I give situations and circumstances time, and I allow things to unfold the way that they are meant to, or organically, I'm also giving myself time. And I feel like that's one of those things where I didn't realize how much I wanted that from myself until I started actually integrating that belief or that action or whatever you want to call it. Because I feel like I've been in so many connections where I wanted somebody that was patient with me, or somebody that was willing to really deal with me moving on and learning and growing and changing slowly but surely. And I feel like a lot of my connections and a lot of people didn't allow that for me, you know? And obviously it was a projection. It wasn't really my fault. It had little to do with me and more to do with them. But the point is that I felt like in a lot of my past connections and in a lot of past situations, not just relationships, I wasn't allowed to have the time and space that I needed to grow and to change at what felt comfortable, you know? And I feel like by giving myself that time, it's just giving me so much fulfillment and so much security. And not to say that I'm no longer impatient. I very much am still impatient, and I still get, skittish about this stuff, but not to the degree that I used to when I was a lot more insecure than I am now, because I still am very much insecure, and I still very much do have flaws, and I am, always doing things, y'all don't really see it, but if y'all knew me, y'all would know. But, it's just, and because of that, I've just been feeling really grateful, because it really does feel like I'm giving a little bit more to myself, and I really am looking for a relationship less out of codependency and more out of true fulfillment and actual love, And, I feel like it's unrealistic to say that we as humans aren't codependent. We're just such social creatures that I feel like codependency is more of a spectrum more than it is it's not that black and white, at least in my eyes, because I just feel like we are all codependent a little bit by nature. And I just hate when people impose upon me that you can either be codependent or not. And it's just because then when people are like, when that comes into play and you're not codependent, and people are like, you're hyper independent, we need people and stuff like that, And it's just kind of like, it's so designed to make you feel guilty for being human, and it's designed to make you feel guilty for feeling the way that you feel and doing what it is that you're doing the way that you know. And it's just, I will do and feel whatever the hell I please, And if it is codependent or hyper independent, then so be it. But it's what feels right to me. It's what feels good. And if it doesn't work at some point, then I will change it. But I'm really just tired of people putting labels on our emotional behaviors, because it's really not that black and white. And I feel like bringing some gray into my emotions and into how I feel and how I approach my relationships has really changed a lot for me, because it's no longer this linear path full of all of these trials and tribulations that make me feel like I'm not good enough, or that, you know, love is unrealistic, you know, all these things that cause overthinking. But yeah, I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I really broken free from a lot of shackles that have been imposed upon me by people and situations that felt restricted themselves or thought in a restrictive way and projected it onto me, you know? But yeah. That's all I have for today's ramble, honestly. I could go on more, but like I said, I don't want to take up too much time here, so check out my ramble channel. But yeah. I'll see you at your reading. I love you. Thank you for listening. Hello, pile 1. If you chose this brown pumpkin, this is going to be your reading for why do people feel threatened by you? Anyways, so we're just going to get into the tarot today, and then an oracle deck, then back to the tarot, then another oracle deck. Do you get what I'm saying? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I just wanted to do a lighter reading, or a reading that's kind of interesting. I don't know. I feel like this is a video I watched and I was like, let me do it right now. Anyways, why do people feel threatened by pile 1? Okay. First card we have here is King of Wands. And we also have 8 of Wands. There's a few things that I got from this, and then we have 10 of Pentacles. Yeah, I like the 10, excuse me. I really like the 10 of Pentacles because I don't know what it is, but when I looked at this card, in this card here, it just gave me this vibe of you're just a very independent person. And with the King of Wands, it's just kind of like, I think it's interesting because, okay, so I feel like you're the kind of person that you're independent, but you know what you need, you know? I feel like you very much accept your humanity, and you very much know any shortcomings you may have, or any times where you may need another person's assistance, you know? And I don't want to paint this in a way that's like, oh, like you have flaws or something like that. But, you know, it's just, you know when you need help, and you know when, you know, and as a result, I just feel like you know what you know, and you know when you don't need help. And you're just very good with what knowledge you have of yourself and what you're capable of. And because of that, I just feel like you're really able to embrace yourself with a lot of context in regards to your identity and what you're capable of. And knowing your power, your identity is definitely something that really a lot of people feel threatened by. And a lot of people may project onto you to make you feel crazy at times, because they literally don't know themselves, and it's easier to make you question yourself than to kind of find themselves out. Because I also feel like it's the sense of, because you're so aware of yourself, you can really see through people who are not genuine or fake people. And I feel like they just kind of feel very scrutinized in your presence. And, you know, they feel like you can see things, and they feel like you can tell what they're feeling and stuff like that. And it really gives the vibe that you're a walking lie detector or something, even if you aren't, you know? It's just you give off that vibe. And also with the King of Wands, I like this imagery because something about this makes me feel like you're able to make things grow out of seemingly nothing, you know? I just feel like you're somebody who's able to give value to anything simply because you're somebody who is able to appreciate things for what they are, you know? I feel like when you bring things into your life, or when, you know, you just don't see things for what it could be, what it has been. You just see things for what they are. This applies to people too, but I wanted to talk a little bit more about the material world. And I feel like as a result, you're just really able to embrace things and appreciate things because you know you just have such a good vision for what's right in front of you. And because of that, it just seems as if though everything you happen to handle, or everything that you come into possession of, whether it be material things or whether it be emotional things, you're just able to really make sense of it, you know, and you're really able to fully embrace it and unlock its full potential, which also just, you know, unlocks a potential within you. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are very intimidated by that and they feel very threatened by that because you're able to add value to things. I don't know how to describe it. You seem to be a very good investor, or you seem to be somebody who's very good with numbers and bringing things into fruition. You know, you set an intention and you go about it. And I wouldn't say it's just kind of, I don't know why, but this doesn't have to be your case. But it makes me think of somebody who doesn't have, you know, somebody who doesn't work, but instead they're constantly investing and their investments are always paying off because they're really good about these things, you know, like very good with numbers, maybe stocks and things like that. And once again, this doesn't have to be applied in a material sense, but with the 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck and what I want to talk about in regards to the 8 of Wands, it really does give me the sense that you guys are very pragmatic and you're very competent when it comes to the 3D. And, you know, because of that, I feel like there's a lot of people that are intimidated by that and they feel threatened by you. And you may get a lot of, I feel like this really does have to do with your career, your visions, and how you express yourself. It could really be anything else, but I just feel like there's a highlight on those few things. I feel like maybe you would have a lot of people that kind of like, they downplay themselves, you know? Or they kind of, okay, the best way to describe it is, I'm going to use myself as an example, because I used to talk to this one person, and this is when I worked at a fast food job, and he worked at, like, you know, he had a better job, you know, it was paying more and all that. And I remember I'd always be like, oh, I just work at fast food, you know, in kind of like a self-deprecating way. You know, obviously I've changed because it's been about 2 years now, 1 year, 1.5 years, almost 2 years. But, you know, it's just that sense of like, I was self-deprecating myself because I felt threatened by him, you know? It kind of is the sense of like staying out of the way. And I feel like you've dealt with a lot of people like that. You could also deal with a lot of people that try to put you down, or people that try to undermine your job, or people who don't care to listen about your job because it makes them feel very insecure, you know? And it's just, I don't think it really matters the reaction, because I feel like your intuition is good enough to understand what reactions you solicit out of people and what you can get out of people. I feel like you're just very good. You're a very good judge of character, and that really does go into why people also feel threatened by you. Excuse me, because they know that they can't just, you know, play cool or something like that. They just feel like you know something a little bit more. But what I was originally going to mention with this 8 of Wands here is the car. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me feel like you're somebody who drives. And even if you don't, it's just that status of, I feel like in this day and age, especially if you are a Gen Z like me, it's just driving without constrictions, or, you know, without restraint, you know, you don't have a curfew or anything. I feel like that's very much seen as like very independent, you know, or seen as very powerful, you know. And it's just, at least from my perspective, and the reason I'm bringing that up is, once again, I feel like it goes back to the fact that people feel threatened by you because you are somebody who is constantly fighting for their liberty, and somebody who has liberty, you know, somebody who has freedom, and somebody who's able to do things that what they want to do. And so because of that, I feel like a lot of people feel very threatened by you, and people feel very, you know, it's just this sense of, oh, they can do whatever they want, you know? And I feel like a little bit of jealousy comes in right here too, especially if you're around people that feel more restricted by their circumstances, or if they constantly victimize themselves, whatever the case may be, you know? But the point is that there are people that aren't able to live as freely as you do, simply because they don't take the time to really adapt the mindset that you possess. And so as a result, I just feel like a lot of people get very, you know, they just feel very, you know, wary of that. And I feel like you've dealt with, like I said, a lot of people who joke on themselves because they do, in fact, feel very threatened by you. And I feel like also there's a lot of people that just feel like you have a lot of money, even if you don't, just because of the 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. I just feel like there are people that feel like you have it going on in the material world, you know? Maybe you dress really nice, or you just have a very refined way of, you know, physically presenting yourself, or you just seem to have very good hygiene, you know? It's giving, you know, really white, straight teeth. It's giving clear skin. It's giving, you know, and even if you don't have any of those things, it's just a sense of, it's obvious you practice well-being. It's obvious that you take care of yourself on the physical level. Anyways, I also wanted to pull this oracle card here, so I'm gonna start shuffling them. Yeah, you just like, you seem very classy, but at the same time, I don't know why, but with the King of Wands, you give off this kind of bouncy, silly, goofy vibe, you know? Like, you're a very charismatic person, and you're very likable, and you're really easy to get along with. But I just feel like there's been a lot of moments where people feel very threatened by you. And I feel like maybe you wouldn't know very much, maybe if you can't get an immediate read on people. But I do feel like maybe on fleeting interactions you haven't been able to get a proper gauge on whether or not these people would feel threatened by you. But I do feel as if though, if you have been in longer standing connections and you've had situations where things crash and burn, it really is because people feel, you know, if you're just not somebody that you really can't be, you know, like nudging forward, you know, somebody who, if you raise a fist, people will start to freak out, even if you're not actually going to do anything. You know what I'm saying? That's how people be feeling about your energy and how people be moving sideways with you, because it's just a sense of you're a very powerful person whether you realize it or not, because you know things that a lot of other people don't know. And I feel like you would be surprised to find out what it is that you know about certain situations and people that a lot of people just simply do not. Why do people feel threatened by pile 1? Why do people feel threatened by pile 1? Okay. We have trust with Basil and Scorpio, and the number 21. You could be a Scorpio. You could also have fire or earth in your chart, because we did have the 10 of Pentacles and we have 2 wand cards here. I feel like if you do, maybe you would have a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising, maybe Venus or Mars, possibly Mercury too. I also feel like you may have some Sagittarius placements, any fire placements, but I feel like there's an emphasis on Sagittarius. Also Leo and Aries, of course, because those are the other fire signs. I just feel like this mixture of Scorpio and fire energy really does give for, especially this, the 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. I just feel like this earth and fire with Scorpio energy just gives me the sense of, it gives me power, you know? You know, when you take fixed water, so take a giant body of water that's absolutely still, and then with earth and fire, it's just, it gives me the sense of, you know, if there is a lake or if there's a still body of water, it's very, you know, it's a big body of water, you know, like you wouldn't just go into it unless you know how to swim or something. And, you know, if there's a fire, the water really do not care, you know, the water just there. What's the fire and the earth gonna do to the water, you know? And it's just the sense of, the reason I'm bringing that up is because I feel like you just know how to read people, and you know how to find people that do know how to swim, you know, you do know how to navigate these people and understand who is for you and who isn't for you. And I feel like the reason I brought that up too is because yes, you may go through a lot of chaos and you may go through a lot of things and a lot of transformations and changes, but I feel like there is this strong inner reservoir that you possess, and this trust and this knowing that things will work out. And I feel like you have an unbelievable faith in whether it be yourself, the universe, or whatever else you may believe in, or what you choose to, you know, practice. And I just feel like because of that, there is this strong, you know, it makes me think of that body of water. You know, there's something within you that is immovable, long-standing, and there to stay above all else and not altered, you know. Things may change around it or in it, but the point is that that water is still there, you know. You are still emotionally present, you know. There is a part of you that is always present no matter what. And because of that, it's just, you've grown so much and you've changed so much because you don't withdraw, or you don't run away from situations, or you don't pass things up, you know. I feel like you really do take challenges head on, especially with this King of Wands here. It gives me this sense that you really do take things, you know, head on, like I said, and you really do not back down from challenges, especially when it comes to things that you want, you know. You aren't going to be somebody that just strays away, or somebody that just backs up because you're nervous or you're afraid. I feel like you really are fearless when it comes to your desires and things that you put value into, which I feel like goes back into what I was saying earlier about you're such a great investor, you know. You know what to fight for, you know what to not fight for, you know what to let go of, you know what to hang on to. And I just feel like this decision making and this clear, unwavering loyalty to yourself and to the things that you care about, it threatens people. You know, people be feeling some sort of way about it. You know, these freaking flies. I don't know where they came from. Anyways, I also just feel like with the basil card in general, when I think of basil, I think of what a essential spice it is, or herb. And I feel like basil is one of those things where whenever I think of basil, I think about the fact that it grows so fast, which is interesting because we do have the Eight of Wands here, which is also about speed. And I feel like you're also a very wise person. Obviously, you'd be a very wise person considering the energies that we have brought up. But combined with the basil card, you know, what I said about basil and, you know, this Eight of Wands, I just feel like there's something about you that's very quick, you know, something about you that's very, you know, like, you know when to make a decision, you know what it is that you want. And I feel like you make your mind up rather quickly. And I feel like people can be very intimidated by this, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a lot of situations where people kind of dribble around the truth, or if they kind of lead up to asking you things, or people kind of seem to play these games when it comes to, you know, talking to you about something or bringing something up to you. I don't know. I wouldn't really be able to describe it. It's just the sense of people seem to come at you passively, or if they're angry at you, passive aggressively, you know. I just feel like there's a lot of people that really feel like they can't go toe to toe with you no matter how much they be talking and how much they got under their belt, simply because they just feel like, you know, whatever it is that they're bringing at you, you'll be able to bring it back twice as more, even if that's literally not the case, you know. Yeah, let's pull some more tarot cards here. We also have the Devil. It depicts some nudity, so I will be covering it up with another card. And we also have the Page of Swords. I think the Page of Swords is a very appropriate card here. The Devil card's right here. Because I just feel like the Page of Swords, once again, kind of goes back to the fact that you may have a lot of people that have gossiped about you, or people that have talked about you, you know? And I feel like you would know, but I must say, I really do feel like you is one of those people where people be fronting with you, but the way that they move in front of you and the way that they move out of your sight, two completely different things. It's really interesting, the masks people put on around you, and I feel like you're able to see right through this mask, and I feel like sometimes you'd be letting people get away with it, you know, you'd be like, I literally know that's a mask, you know. You know, but you're just kind of like, oh, whatever, do what you want. You're clearly ingenuine, and I really don't need to be around you, you know. Which, you know, once again goes back to the fact that I really do feel like you seek people who they just don't have that mask on with you because they understand you. I feel like, with that being said, it may be easy for you or hard for you, depending on how you look at it, for you to find kindred spirits or to find people that you really resonate with. Simply because, one, I say it's hard because it is hard to come by people that are like you, but at the same time, it's very much, they stick out like a sore thumb whenever you do find them. So I feel like it's difficult and easy depending on which perspective you want to take on. But generally speaking here, I feel like with the Devil card gives me the vibe that, because we have that cardinal energy here, you know, because we have that Capricorn vibe, which, by the way, you could have Capricorn. Capricorn plus Scorpio is I feel like it's such a fierce combination. And once again, you don't have to have any of these placements, but I am just saying that I feel like Pluto, Mars, and Saturn could be very relevant here. Because I just feel like there is this heaviness about you, and there is this sense of you really are working and you really are moving away from something. And I feel like the amount of work that you have done on yourself is wild, you know, because that Saturnian energy makes me think of the fact that you probably had some interesting premonitions or interesting, you know, restrictions and setbacks in your lifetime that you have overcome, and it it makes you very powerful, you know. I feel like it's one of those things where as you complete challenges and as you complete cycles in your life, it kind of sharpens your energy, you know, because that's another part of yourself you've gotten familiar with, and that, you know, consequently hones your vibe, you know, it hones your energy, your wisdom, your mind, your, you know, all of you, you know. And because of that, I just feel like you're the kind of person that only gets better at time, you know, with time, you know. I forgot how to say it. I don't know how to say it. And you only get better with time, you know. There is no such thing as relapsing or going back or getting worse for you. You really do have this sense of timelessness about you, but at the same time getting better with time, you know. It's like age like wine, you know. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. But with the Page of Swords and the King of Wands and Eight of Wands, I really like this combination because the Page of Swords makes me feel like you're also very intellectually curious and you're somebody who is a true conversationalist. I feel like there's just something about you that's very witty and hilarious and very relatable, you know? And I feel like this can be taken as a huge threat or it can be seen as kind of like, oh, you know, because it's like being hot and funny in today's world is wild, okay? That is just like, that can get you into so many doors. And I'm not even going to sit here and I run up on y'all about it because y'all already know. But, you know, I really do feel like you're that kind of vibe, you know? Like, you're the kind of person that's hot and funny. And I feel like there's a lot of people that feel threatened by you because of that, you know? Because I feel like there's people around you that have put all of their eggs into one basket or the other. But it's just like you simply have it all because you know yourself so well. Once again, you know how to embrace yourself. You know how to hone your energy. And you know what to cultivate, you know. You're not a one trick is what I'm trying to say here. And excuse me, I was just going to say that with the Page of Swords, I feel like you're very smart. I feel like you're very good with your words, and I feel like you're really able to make somebody feel really dumb. And I feel like you're just not the kind of person that anybody should be getting into an argument with. I feel like nobody can pull up to you without their facts being straight. I feel like you're just the kind of person that you won't even participate, you know. You'll be like, are you done wasting my time? Let me pull an astrology card too. But I really like the Devil card here, but I feel like the Devil card here is kind of interesting because it gives me the sense that you're somebody who is able to, because when I think of the Devil card, I also think of, you know, when people pick up vices or when people, you know, pick up drinking or when people pick up smoking or something to really cope with things or to really handle things. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I just feel like you're somebody who's able to deal with things, you know, without those vices, you know. And, you know, whether or not you have those vices, it's your business. The point is that even if you do have vices and even if you do cling onto things that others would perceive as kind of like a scapegoat or something, what I'm trying to say here is that for how much you're dealing with and how much you're able to, you know, manage and how much you're able to overcome, there's a lot of people that feel threatened by the amount of pressure that you're able to work under and the fact that it just seems as if though very little gets to you. Do you get what I'm saying? And I just feel like the Devil card, it gave me Daredevil vibes. I just feel like you're somebody who is very challenging, especially intellectually. I feel like with the Page of Swords and the Devil card combined together, it just really shows me that you're very intellectually hungry or famished to a point where you're always wanting to learn, you know, and you learn quick and you teach just as quicker, you know. It's just the amount of information that you're able to process and digest, it's threatening, honestly. There's a lot of people that feel that they feel like you know how people are always afraid of robots because they can learn so fast and they can do so much in such a little amount of time and how they're able to progress just so quickly. I feel like that's how people feel about you, you know. People feel like you're going to take over the world or something, you know. Maybe not that dramatic, but, you know, it's just that you're always absorbing information and you're always taking your environment in. And once again, all of that plays into when you're sharpening your energy, you know. So it seems as if though you're constantly learning about yourself, you're constantly learning about your surroundings, and this just gives people who feel especially threatened by you so little time to hide themselves or to come up with a front, you know, or to come up with something superficial, you know, or to kind of like, they can't really smoke screen you. Nobody can really, they don't have the time to cast a smoke screen around you because you have already seen right through them. You have already seen right through the situation. You've already gotten a read and a grasp on the circumstances. So as a result, it just doesn't give people enough time. And I feel like you've dealt with a lot of scrambling in that sense, especially in arguments. I feel like people try to go for low blows with you. Why do people feel threatened by pile 1? Why do people feel threatened by pile 1? Oh. Ooh. We got the first house. Just gonna leave that there. I think this is all the cards that I'm gonna pull. I really like that because on the bottom of the deck we do have the 7th house. I'm not taking it, but I just think it's interesting how we have that polarizing energy, you know, because the 1st and 7th house are opposites. And that just makes me feel like you've covered a lot of corners within your identity, and I feel like you're able to really establish yourself in connections. And I feel like with that being said, you've just dealt with a lot of people and situations that try to erode you, or people that try to dim your light, especially in relationships. I wouldn't be surprised if you've had a lot of romantic partners that were asking you to do a lot more than you were willing to do simply because they felt so threatened by you, you know? And I feel like you've dealt with a lot of connections and people that were competing with you instead of trying to lift you up or any of that stuff. And I just feel like you've dealt with a lot of people that just, they couldn't do the work on themselves, and instead they were asking you to step down, you know? Instead of them stepping up, they were asking you to step down, you know? And also, I just feel like there's something about your stare. You may get a lot of people that feel very strange about your stare or your gaze. I just want to throw that out there. Something about your eyes is very significant. I think I'm just going to sum up this reading, pile 1, by saying that the reason that people feel threatened by you is the fact that you're just like, you're always learning, you're always taking in information, and said information is always being applied and always being looked at from several different angles. And the way that you're able to break down situations and people and lessons and whatever else it may be that you are intellectually curious about or absorbing, it just really, it threatens people because, once again, they just feel like they can't keep up with you. And on top of that, everything that I just mentioned about how you break down information, it's constantly being applied. And I feel like because of that, you're always maximizing nuances in your life, which leads to you always learning about yourself, always learning about things and people, which only makes you even more wise, and it only makes you even more, you know, intellectually competent. It just makes you a very competent person, and you know yourself very intimately, and you know the ins and outs of relationships and what you evoke out of people very intimately. And because of that, I feel like you've dealt with a lot of people that you just be gathering, you know, you just be dealing with them because you've already dealt with people like that, or you already know what to do in that situation. And I feel like because of that, there's a lot of people that they can't even pull up to you with their bag of tricks because every single trick they've seen before. And so it seems as if though, like, you can never be surprised. There we go. Oh my gosh, that is literally the perfect way to describe it. You just don't seem like a person that can ever be surprised. And because of that, people feel super threatened by you, pile 1. And you've had people moving around. What's the word? Shiesty? Is that the word to say? I just feel like there's a lot of people that have been feeling some sort of way about you because they're just like, oh my gosh, you know? And I just feel like with the first house card, like, you just know yourself really well, and you know yourself at a very intimate level, you know? And I feel like you have a very good relationship with your inner child. I do see early childhood in this card. And I just feel like you're a very headstrong person, and you're somebody who's very aware of themselves. And as a result, you're very aware of your surroundings. And let me just say, when you're present and you're aware of what's going on around you, there are people that will feel threatened by that. And it's just a sense of, like, I don't know. I feel like there's also people who have been sorry because they underestimated you, or they didn't think that there would be as much, or you would have such a strong inner reservoir. And I feel like there are people that have tested you that are very sorry now, and they are still healing from those burns. But yeah. That's all I have for you, pile 1. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those on my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, pile 2. If you chose this yellowish, orangish pumpkin, this is going to be a reading for why do people feel threatened by you? Now, today we are going to be doing tarot, then an oracle deck, then tarot, then an oracle deck. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, why do people feel threatened by my pile 2s? The reason that I just wanted to do today's reading because I felt like this is a more lighthearted topic. I feel like with how much has been going on, I need something that's like a little bit, you know, a little bit less serious. Why do we feel threatened by pile 2? Okay. For your first card, we have Death. Oh my gosh. So here we go. And we also have Queen of Swords. Oh my gosh. Girl, I would not want to argue with you. I would not want to do you at all, actually. I would not want to come at you sideways. And then we have the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we do... that's interesting. We have Taurus and Scorpio here, which they are sister signs, and then we have air signs. So, I don't know what it is, but with this butterfly and this... By the way, I love this death card. One of the coolest death cards I've ever seen. This butterfly made me think of that one movie, Antebellum. I think it was... I feel so bad. It was supposed to come out, but then the lockdown happened. But... I forgot what that movie... I've never seen the movie. In fact, it's one of the few movies that I've wanted to watch. But that's what the butterfly made me think of. And it is also making me think of this book called Kindred. And it was kind of about the past, you know, of this person that was going back and forth in, you know, time. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because... if you've read the book or if you have seen the movie, not that I don't know if those two things are related, by the way, but or like if the book is based on the movie, but what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like there's something about you that just shows that I feel like maybe some of you guys do ancestral work, or maybe some of you guys are very in tune with your ancestors. You don't have to be, but it's just a sense of like you're very conscious, and what you're aware of, it may seem as if though there's something about you that is like, it feels like you don't belong in the time that you are in, you know? You just seem to be very ahead, or you just seem to be very adaptable. I don't know, like there's something about you that's very... it seems as if though something about you is in another realm, you know? In the sense of how you dress, how you carry yourself, and how you think. Because I just feel like there is a very rebellious quality about you, or something about you that just shows that you are very discerning, and you are somebody who takes rules very seriously, whether it be your own rules or whether it be external rules. Because of the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck here, you may even be a little bit traditional in your take, but regardless of what it is that your values actually are, is the point that you have a very strong inner moral code, and you are somebody with a lot of integrity, self-respect, and because of that, the way that you can really stand up for said respect, and the way that you can stand up for things when you know that you have been misjudged, or when you know that they're just not right, it's really something, you know. There's something about you that your take on justice and how it is served is truly something that is magical, but can also be frightening to those around you that have done you incorrectly, you know. This is such a silly analogy, and I feel like with the heavy energies that have been presented here, it'd be kind of funny. It makes me think of when you're pulled over by a police officer, you know. It's this sense of like, am I going to get a ticket, you know? Am I going to have to do this? Am I going to have to do that? Am I okay, you know? That's what it feels like, you know? I feel like when people are around you, they aren't too sure of what to get with you, because you are such a dynamic person, and you are somebody that feels very deeply, and, you know, I just feel like you're somebody that is very unpredictable in that sense, because I just feel like every day is a new adventure for you, and you're constantly transforming and getting rid of things, you know? And something about... I really wish I saw that movie, Antebellum, because... I don't know, like, I feel like you just give chills, you know? I feel like there's something about you it's promising. Like, you are a walking promise, you know? What that promise may be, it's to be determined based on how people treat you and based how somebody approaches you. But I remember in the trailer for that movie, I know I keep going back to that movie, but I swear, it's just the immediate first thing that this butterfly has made me think about. And I remember there was this line that this woman said. She said, "Our time is now." And I just, there's so much conviction in that sentence. And I feel like that's the kind of person you are, Pile 2. You're somebody that has strong conviction, and you know, what it is that you know, but whatever it is knowledge that you possess in regards to yourself, oh my gosh. Okay. Now I'm making, I feel like it's starting to make sense to me. So with the Hierophant card, to me at least is structure. To me, it's about what has been implemented in our societal lives, in regards to school, work, capitalism, all these things, it's these structures and these facilities and things that have been installed to create order, And with the Death card and Queen of Swords, I feel like you have an intimate knowledge of these things. And I just feel like you're able to navigate the system and navigate this world with such grace because you have a deep understanding of the rules, And I feel like you're cultivating your own little world within you. And I feel like what's within you is so starkly different and unrelated to the things outside of you. And I just feel like the reason that that's threatening to people is because you really don't take criticism, you don't take guff, you don't deal with stupidity, you don't deal with ignorance and bigoted behaviors, You're somebody that really doesn't have the time for it because you're more concerned about what you feel and what you think is right, And I just feel like you're really able to bring nuance and change to wherever it is that you go because you take your own perspective on it and you're able to kind of look at it for what it is, and look at it from all different angles. And I feel like that's just the kind of person you are, You're just not somebody, you just don't take things that black and white, And when you do, the amount of, I don't know how to describe it, When it is a yes or no for you, it is a hard yes or no. Like, it is hard to change your mind. We already have 2 cards that represent fixed energies. Girl, ain't no one changing your mind when you have made it up, But I don't know why, but I'm thinking of these kind of deeper thriller horror movies, if you will. Maybe you really like horror movies or thrillers, I don't know. But I'm also thinking about the movie Us. And I don't know if you've seen the movie. I just recently watched it because my friends forced me to. But the ending is just, it really made you think, And I feel like that's the kind of person you are. You really make people think with the ideas that you present and the way that you carry yourself and the way that you present yourself and the way that you believe in things, And your perspective on things is just so fascinating and so intricate and very educated and very loaded. And people feel threatened by that because you're very intelligent and you're very smart, Queen of Swords, like, you're just a very smart person. And because of that, I feel like you have a very, as I said, you probably know yourself very intimately because you understand your place in this world. And people already feel threatened by that because they know that you have a sense of purpose and they probably don't have that, or they just don't know what they're meant for yet. Girl, when you know your sense of purpose, you already know that people are going to feel threatened by you. I really don't have to elaborate upon that further. But, I just feel like on top of the fact that you have this intense sense of purpose, it's just that purpose is something that I don't feel as though many people come by very often. And so, like, as a result, I just feel like a lot of people, they feel very, it's just something that's very niche or something that you don't come by very often. And because of that, it really does change people's lives. Your energy changes people's lives, Pile 2. And if you've interacted with people as much as I feel like you have, you probably already know what I'm talking about. And I just want to say, I really do feel as if though, I'm hoping that these energy, if you're watching, it's because these energies have resonated. Because I feel like with the nature of how decisive, how potent, and how intense these vibes are, I really don't feel as if though this is just something that's like, oh, maybe this might be my pile, But I feel like with what I presented, you'll know, So I'm really trusting you right now, and I'm really counting on the fact that because it's just like, it's obvious you know yourself very intimately, And if that is the case, then you have found your pile. If not, I feel like there's a different pile. Anyways, let me pull an oracle card here. Why do people feel threatened by pile 2? 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 And I also want to say, I feel like it's very interesting that I've come up with all these kind of silly analogies to kind of describe who you are. And I just want to say, pardon me if it seems as if though I seem to be pigeonholing you or something. But it really does go to show how unique and how potent your energy is, to where it would really be impossible to kind of describe you guys to the bone, you know, at least individually. And obviously that's just the tea because this is a general reading. But you know what I mean? I just feel like you guys have so many intricacies about you, and it makes me think of when you look at a shirt, you know, it's just kind of like, oh, it's just a shirt. But when you really look into it and you look at it, you can see that all these threads, you know, you can see that there's so much more to it, you know. You know, when you think of our universe, there's so many intricacy, nuances, little things, you know, little things that you would be able to miss, or things that you wouldn't really, you know. And I feel like that's just, it translates to what kind of person you may be. You're very intricate, a very deep person, very loving, and somebody who just commits so deeply to a point that people they feel threatened by that, you know. People, they just feel like they don't know if they're ready, you know. That, I feel like that's the best way to take it. I feel like you've dealt with, excuse me, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but readings always make me either sniffly, very congested, or they just make me burp. I don't know. But I just feel like you've dealt with a lot of people that have strung you along, or people that have, you know, tried to cloak themselves in front of you because they aren't sure if they were ready, you know. They aren't sure if they were ready to fully deep dive with you, because people know that you're just not the kind of person that's gonna, you know, do casual or, you know, be all superficial, you know. And this doesn't have to be just about relationships, just generally, you know. You're somebody that when you've made your mind up, you will do whatever it is that you're doing and commit to it to the very end, you know. And there's people that are afraid of that. We also have courage here with Libra and number 13. Lucky number 13. So many interesting energies here. With Libra, I think Libra is such a stark difference compared to the Death card and the Hierophant card. And with the Queen of Swords, I feel like that puts an emphasis on Libra, so you could have Libra placements. Or you could just have a Scorpio or Taurus Venus. I don't know. There's something about Venus, something about Scorpio and Taurus and the air signs. I just feel like with the Courage card, setting all the other cards aside, there's something about this that really does give me the vibe that you're somebody who's very courageous, a risk taker, you know. Maybe you aren't somebody who doesn't like taking, maybe with Taurus and Scorpio, maybe you're not the kind of person that does like taking risks. I feel like you're somebody who's very calculated, and you know that when there's something to be gained, I do think that you'll take a leap of faith when necessary. That already threatens people, because I just feel like there's a lot of people that are afraid of that, people who can't do what it is that you do. People cannot swim at the depths that you swim at, pile 2, and don't even play dumb with them being all like, oh, what do you mean? You know exactly what I mean. When it comes to your emotions, when it comes to navigating your way through this society and navigating your way through this world, people cannot do it to the depths that you do. People cannot do it with the circumstances and conditions that you do. And I feel like when people meet you, they kind of get that vibe. And I feel like as they get to know you more and more, and as they learn about your circumstances and what it is that you're going through, what you aim for, your goals, ambitions, and all that, it's a lot, you know, because you put meaning into every little thing that you do. You're a very intentional person, and you're not careless by any means, and you're very meticulous. And I feel like because of that, there are people that are very threatened by your observations. This is another thing I was going to say earlier. There's probably been a lot of situations where people feel very scrutinized by your presence, or people feel very, you know, they feel naked around you, you know. because you're able to see right through them. You know, you're able to read them to feel that. I wouldn't be surprised if you yourself read tarot, or you do something that is, you know, like tarot, you know, like astrology, or maybe you do like palm readings, you know, just something like that. You know, I just feel like you do have your own foot in spirituality, you know, readings and all of that stuff. But aside from that, it just gives me the sense that like you're somebody who, once again, you know your purpose and you know your meaning, and you know that's, or at least you have a clue. You know, I wouldn't say like, oh, you have every single little thing and the nitty gritty, you know, figured out, but it's just a sense of, you know how much you know, and you know exactly where to go with it. You know, with the tools that you've been given, you understand how to use them, and you understand the purpose of them. And I just feel like that's, you know, I feel like you're just the kind of person, if we're going to really, you know, water it down to, you know, like really dumb it down, it's just a sense of like, if you are in a room with an apple, a block of cheese, and I don't know, a bar of chocolate, and someone gives you a cheese grater, you know exactly what to use that cheese grater for. And there are other people that you give them the cheese grater and they're like, what is this supposed to do, you know? And they just panic, you know? And you're laughing, you're making fun of me, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, you know? I just feel like with the tools that you have been given, you're very understanding and you're very knowledgeable about what this tool does and how you're supposed to, you know? And I feel like because of that, you're very good at maximizing where you're strong, and you know your strengths very well, and you know how to use said strengths, and you know your power. There we go. And a lot of people who don't know their own power they feel very threatened by you, because I feel like there's a lot of people that feel very powerless around you, simply because you know where your strengths are, and you also know your weaknesses, and you know your soft spots. And because of that, I feel like you're able to compensate for those, guard those, or even train those areas of your life so that they're not weaknesses. Whatever it may be, your weaknesses and your blind spots are taken care of because you take the time to get to know yourself, you know? And I feel like there's a lot of people that, you know, there's people that are looking for weaknesses and they're looking for those low blows, and they can't find them with you, or when they do, let's just say they have been handled, they have been gathered, they have been dealt with. And I just feel like that's why a lot of people feel threatened by you, you know? It's because they really can't come at you, you know? They really can't run around you or try to do something tricky, you know? They can't be sneaky. No one can sneak around you. You're just not having it. It makes me, oh my gosh, have you guys seen ASDF movie? I remember there's this one clip where this person was like, I forgot what they said. They said, I stole this. And they're like, well, I stole your face, you know? It's just a sense of like, I feel like, you know, I feel like if someone tries to pickpocket you, you'll be like, you'll look over and be like, I know you're pickpocketing me, and by the way, I stole your house, you know? I don't know. I know that was a silly analogy. Anyways, we also have Knight of Cups, and we also have Knight of Pentacles. Ooh, I like these two together. Earth and Water. I love the Knight of Cups because I feel like that goes back to what I was saying, that people, they really can't come at you, you know? People have to be genuine with you, you know? But I also just feel like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, there's a lot of bad people that feel threatened by you because you're able to know a bad person from a mile away. Because I feel like with the Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles, especially the Knight of Cups, you know when someone's genuine, and you know when someone is truly heartfelt, you know? And I feel like you're able to really resonate with these people, connect with them, you know, protect them, or them protect you, you know. It's just, you're very good at knowing a good soul when you see one. And I feel like above that, it's just the Knight of Cups and Knight of Pentacles shows that you yourself, I feel like the way I've been describing you this whole reading is the sense of like this crazy person that's like, you know, really, you know, they don't take anything, you know. But with the Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Cups, especially with the Queen of Swords, you're just fair, and you give out what is deserved, and you keep what is meant for you, you know? You're very good with boundaries, and you're a very tenacious person, and you're somebody who you take love very seriously. You take your feelings very seriously. You're always following your heart. You're always doing what you feel is right, you know? That strong moral code, like I said, you know? You're just not somebody who is fake, or you're not somebody that you don't like to do things behind people's backs, or you don't like to move a certain way that suggests dishonesty or betrayal, you know? You're somebody who takes these things very seriously, and you take love very seriously, you know? It's a sacred thing to you. And I know I keep saying take things very seriously, but it's just, you just do not tolerate lying. You don't tolerate dishonesty. And as a result, you give that out, you know? When someone tells you something, you believe them. When you tell somebody something, you mean it, you know? And I feel like that genuine nature about you is something that people feel threatened by because they are not genuine themselves. And I feel like there are a lot of people that have tried to take from you, or people that have tried to exploit you. Unfortunately, they didn't really realize that the more they take from you and the more that they hurt you, the more that you grow, and the more that, you know, like, karma gets back at them. I feel like you're very spiritually protected. I feel like you have a strong spiritual team. I think that, you know, whatever else you would like to say about that, I just feel like you're very favored, you know? You're somebody who's very protected. And as a result, I feel like nobody knows better than those that have tried to do you wrong, or people that have done you wrong. I feel like they have gotten the hammer of justice. They have been reduced to ashes. But yeah, I just feel like the Knight of Pentacles and Knight of Cups just shows, like, there's something about you that's very emotionally docile and very emotionally pure, in the sense that you are protecting yourself, and that you are keeping yourself changed, and that you are changing and acting on this sense of purpose that you have, because it's clear that you have an inner drive, you have a strong moral code, like I keep saying, and people feel threatened by that because they don't know themselves, you know? There are people that wish that they had the conviction that you have, and there are people that really want what you have, and they try to take it from you, or they try to make you not see it, but it just doesn't work. And I just feel like there are people that feel very threatened by that. Why do people feel threatened by pile 2? Why do people feel threatened by pile 2? Oh. Ooh, I like this. We have the moon. So Cancer could also be significant here. Or you could just have any of the signs that I mentioned in your moon. So Libra, Scorpio, or Taurus moon. We also have Pluto on the bottom of the deck. I'm not taking it, but I do think that it's a very significant card because we do have Scorpio and Death here. It's just very obvious that you feel very deeply. It's very obvious that when someone sees you, pile 2, if they are in any way emotionally competent, they know that you are feeling very deeply, and they know that your emotions run deep, you know? It makes me think of the bolt and stride, you know? It's just, it looks very innocent, but it's just like, it's deadly, you know? And I'm not saying that that's what you are. I'm not saying that you're deadly, but I am saying that there's so much more to you than what meets the eye, and you're not somebody that is to be trifled with. Maybe not because you'll do something yourself, but more so the universe ain't gonna like you, you know? The universe is like, leave my child alone. Anyways, I just feel like the moon card really does sum up everything I was saying, is that you feel, I feel like, replace everything that I said with you feel, you know? You feel a deep sense of purpose. You feel like you know your place in this world. You feel, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like above all else, you're stubborn. If we wanted to take it in a, you know, a Nimrod's way, if you will, is that the correct word to say? Nimrod. Where did that word come from? It makes me think of the villager from Minecraft that has the green outfit on. The nitwit, the imbecile. I forgot what it was called. But, you know, if we're going to take it in a, you know, a very caveman way, I just feel like people don't really understand you, you know? People don't really understand why you do things the way that you do them, you know? And because of that, I feel like they feel like you know something more, and they just immediately feel threatened by that. But yeah. I think I'm just going to sum up your reading, pile 2, by saying that there is something that's very timeless about you. There's something about you that suggests that you have seen things that a lot of other people would not be able to handle, and that the themes that have surrounded you as you have navigated this lifetime have been very intense and have really pushed you to learn about yourself and to learn about the world that you are surrounded by, and to learn about your environment, and to understand relationships, and to understand how to protect your heart, And because of that, I just feel like the way that you go about these lessons and the way that you go about applying what it is that you have learned in regards to the themes that have been presented to you is very intense. You know, you feel very deeply, like I keep saying. And I just feel like you have a very intimate knowledge of yourself, and you know yourself very well, and you know your place in this world. And a lot of people feel just very threatened by that, you know? And I feel like the reason they feel threatened by it is because they feel threatened by the fact that you have something that they don't have, or they feel like they don't have, or they just simply haven't found yet. And they don't understand, you know, what they're doing wrong, or they don't, you know, it's just, I really don't feel like these people need a description of how they spiral or how they go about feeling threatened. But it's just it just goes to show that whatever it is that they feel, or whatever it is that they understand about you, what little they do, they understand that there is so much more, you know? I feel like it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, oh, you know? It's like tip of the iceberg vibe. You look at the tip of the iceberg and you're like, oh, wait, there is way more to it, you know? But yeah, it's just very obvious that you're a genuine, a heartfelt person, and somebody who is looking for genuine love, and you're looking for an emotional safe space. And I feel like this life has been about navigating the intense themes that have surrounded you in order to find this safe haven for yourself. And I just feel like a lot of people feel very threatened by that, because I just feel like there's a lot of people that feel lost, you know? I feel like it makes me think of there's a treasure, and you along with other people have been placed around this treasure, and you seem to be moving towards this no one knows where this treasure is, and you seem to be moving towards it, and people feel like you know where you're going, and they're nervous that you'll beat them, so as a result they do whatever they can to stop you, you know, if that made sense. But yeah, I just feel like people feel threatened by you because they feel like you know something more than they do, and they just like they take it out on themselves or whatever it is, you know. But it's just, I'll leave it at that. They just feel like you know something more than they do. But yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, especially because I feel like I was all over the place in your reading. So if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching again. I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose this white pumpkin, this is going to be your reading for why do people feel threatened by you? So today we're going to be doing tarot, then an oracle deck, then tarot, then oracle deck. So like, I hope that makes sense. We're just going to hop right into it. Good. There we go. Oh my gosh, needed to get that up. Anyways, why do people feel threatened by Pile 3? I wanted to do kind of like a light-hearted reading today, if you will, or kind of like a more interesting, casual reading. I don't know. I just feel like all the themes lately, I need something that's a little bit more casual. Yeah, I'd watch this reading, so I don't know. Why do people feel threatened by Pile 3? Okay. First card, we have 10 of Cups. And then we have King of Swords. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have Knight of Cups. You guys, I love this 10 of Cups, but I have this card made me think of a lot of things. So, if you can't see, there's like these mountains, and they're smooching, they're out here, you know, they're PDAing. But my point in bringing this up, or why I'm bringing it up, is that these mountains are in fixed locations, you know. They love each other from their own connection to Earth. And I'm bringing that up because I watched this reading by Adia ASMR, and I'm sure you guys know of her, by the way, but literally go check out her readings. Her readings are so fabulous. I want to be just like her, you guys. She's like my idol. Just kidding, but like, you know, like I love her a lot. But I remember that in one of her readings, she said there was this one deck she used, and it was these two trees, and their branches intertwined, but their trunks are in separate locations. And she was talking about how they love each other from their own connection, but they love each other and they connect to each other, but their trunks are located in different areas, you know, which represents individuality, knowing themselves, having their own connection with the world. Excuse me, by the way. did I say excuse me? I don't know. But the reason that I feel like that's relevant with the King of Swords and Knight of Cups is that I feel like you know yourself well enough in your relationships, and you know how to like, you just respect yourself. Do you know what I mean? And I'm bringing this up in the context that I feel like a lot of times, especially nowadays, where people get into relationships and they expect you to drop everything for them, you know, or they expect you to be very sacrificing with them, or people just seem to have a very janky relationship with boundaries in relationships. And I just feel like you're somebody with boundaries. You're somebody that you're very deeply rooted in your own way to this world. And I feel like a lot of people feel threatened by that because you aren't willing to give them everything all at once. And it's obviously not in a way that's like, oh, you don't love them, but it's just the way that you express your love is simply different and simply more refined and more with respect for yourself. Above all else, you just really respect yourself, and you really know how to keep somebody at arm, or you really know how to maintain your bubble and your personal space. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have tried to invade that, and a lot of people that have tried to take something away from you. And this is a really beautiful energy, because I just feel like you seek out genuine love and people, especially with the Knight of Cups, because to me the Knight of Cups, ooh, and then right after we have the Two of Cups. Yeah, I really do feel like I want to say that this puts an emphasis on romantic relationships, because I do feel like these are the kind of people that are most threatened by you, because I feel like it just seems as if though you seem to be a very love-inducing person. I feel like you've had a lot of situations where people get the hard eyes with you. I don't know. There's just something about you that's very attractive and alluring, which that can be threatening in its own right. But the sheer amount of self-respect that you carry and the sheer amount of boundaries that you're able to set, and not like obviously in the way that's like, oh my gosh, like you're setting up walls, you know, but more so you just know, you know yourself, and you know your boundaries, and you know what you can and cannot do. And I feel like there's been a lot of occurrences where people ask way more of you than you're willing to give or able to give. And because of that, I just feel like there's people that feel very threatened by you because you aren't willing to sacrifice yourself and throw yourself away at the drop of a hat because of their own misconceptions about love and what romantic relationships or connections are, you know? And I feel like in that sense that you are just very non-conforming. And I feel like you're just very unwilling to become or be something that other people want you to be, you know? I just feel like you never play a role. I feel like you're very honest. You can be maybe even a little bit blunt with the King of Swords. I also feel like with the King of Swords, you're somebody who is just not afraid to communicate. You're not afraid to give a piece of your mind. And I feel like people already feel very threatened by that. I feel like maybe some people have felt like you come on very strong. I just think that you're just not somebody that tolerates disrespect. I feel like maybe sometimes people can think you're very mean or hard to approach, but I feel like you kind of like it that way because you may not try to deal with these people. You're just like, I'm not your parent, okay? But there's just something about you that's very beautiful and very loving, yet at the same time, that part of you can be shut off from somebody extremely quickly, you know? And I feel like there's been a lot of times where people, that has happened to them, you know, people have been, you know, not so kind to you, and because of that you're like, all right, I tried giving you the soft gushy parts of myself, but you wanted to take advantage of that. Now I'm not going to be nice anymore, you know? And I feel like above all else, you're somebody who stands by their word, you know? I feel like you're somebody that when you say something, you're going to do it. And I feel like you just don't tolerate flaky people like that. And what I mean by that is I just feel like people who poorly communicate to you, or people who, you know, want to move a certain way with you in terms of communication, how they speak to you and what they promise you or what they say to you, I feel like you hold them to everything, you know? I really do feel like you're a walking internal log of what people have said to you. And I feel like you're somebody who does remember things. And I feel like you've had a lot of instances where people have said something to you and they really stood on it, and you're like, all right, if you want to stand on it. And I feel like they pull up again, and being all like, hey, I'm sorry about what, and you're like, no, because you said what you said and you wanted to stand on it, so get out of my face, you know. I just feel like you're somebody who takes words very seriously, and not like in the sense that you get, you know, not, I feel like that can be taken as, oh, like you get very butthurt by words, but more so in a way that you just, you know what to say, and I just feel like you're very good with your words, you know, and I feel like you use your words, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of people that feel threatened by that because there's a lot of people that don't know how to use their words. And I just feel like there's a lot of people that have been, you made them feel dumb, or you made them look dumb because you're just like, you can use your words, you know, or you can communicate, you know. I don't know why you're doing all that. But yeah, I'm going to pull some oracle cards here, or an oracle card from this deck. Why do people feel threatened by pile 3? Why do people feel threatened by pile 3? Also, with the Ten of Cups, I just think of move mountains. I feel like you really don't settle. I feel like you're looking for what you offer. You know, I feel like you're the kind of person that's like, I'm giving it my all, so I'm looking for someone else that's giving it their all, you know. Of course, in a respectful way. But in saying that, I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I feel like there's a lot of people that are not willing to give their all, and they just kind of, they're looking for a freebie, and I feel like you're like, you look dumb, get out of my face, you know? And in fact, those people feel very threatened by you because they just feel stupid, you know? They feel like they're a little kid that's been scolded simply because they don't know how to act. And I feel like you really call it out, you know? You don't tolerate it. Why do people feel threatened by my pile 3s? Oh, alright. We have longevity with Scorpio, the chrysanthemum, and number 39. We also have a sun here, so you could have a water or air sun, especially Scorpio, but you absolutely don't have to. Scorpio also showed up in pile 2. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are here from pile 2, or if you were really drawn to pile 2. If you want to watch pile 2, you can. If you're from pile 2, hey, pile 2 out of pile 2 and 3, I don't know. Anyways. I also like this clock here, this wristwatch. Or, you know, the pocket watches. I've always wanted a pocket watch. Let me go get one right now. But anyways, I just feel like you're not somebody who's also willing to stick around and wait. You know, I feel like that really goes back to the fact that you aren't going to throw yourself away for somebody, or you aren't going to sacrifice parts of yourself for somebody else. And I feel like there's a lot of people that feel threatened by that. And I don't know, like, I just feel like you're kind of, maybe sometimes it's kind of confusing to you because you're kind of like, it's not like I'm expecting y'all to do it my way, you know, this is just how I do things. And I feel like there's a lot of people that do things differently than you, that feel like because you're so confident in what it is that you do and how you approach relationships and self-love and all of that, I feel like there's a lot of people that are more of chameleons and people that, you know, kind of bend over backwards constantly. And because of the fact that you are so unwavering and so sure of yourself and how you want to approach your connections and how you approach your feelings, boundaries, communications, etc. I just feel like there's people that don't approach them the same way, and because they are not as sure about themselves as you are yourself, they feel threatened by you. And I feel like there's a lot of people that try to explain themselves to you, or they feel like they owe you an explanation, or they seem to just kind of like, you know, they try to overcompensate or something because they do feel threatened by you and they want to, you know, stand out the way. And I feel like people that have tried to, you know, stand their ground against you and try to prove you wrong or something, they have been severely disappointed. But I want to go back to what else, you know, like further upon the first point, because I just feel like, you know, for example, you're somebody that, you know, you don't wait around for somebody even if you love them, because you aren't going to keep yourself in that position. And I just feel like there's a lot of people that are like, well, I would wait, you know, and you're just like, hey, that's good for you, you know, I love that for you. If that's what you want to do, then do it, you know. Or I remember I was watching this TikTok and this guy was like, oh, if you want to keep spamming me, it's obvious I don't have the time, or it's obvious that I don't want to talk. I will tell you or get back to you whenever I can. And it's just the sense of they're keeping themselves in this position of they're not respecting themselves because they're constantly reaching out to somebody that clearly doesn't want to talk to them, you know? And I feel like that's a very nuanced topic depending on who's watching and how you approach. But do you get what I'm saying? It's just that's how he does things, and that's how he was explaining his methods and what he believes in. And there's people in the comments that were like, I don't agree with that, or I would do it this way. And he was like, hey, that's you. If that's how you want to do it, then do it your way. No hate, you know? I'm just saying that that's not what works for me. And I feel like that really does resonate with what it is, how I feel like you approach your methods and how you approach anything, really. I just feel like you're the kind of person that you do things and you do what feels right for you and you do what feels comfortable for you. And I feel like a lot of people would try to give their opinion and be like, well, I feel like that's not right, or I would do it this. And you're just kind of like, I'm not asking what you guys do. I don't care what you guys do. I just do it this way, you know? If you don't like it, then don't do it, you know? I just feel like you're somebody who really stays in their own lane, and I feel like you've dealt with a lot of people trying to, you know, get in your face about these things or trying to, like, criticize you or something like that. And if it's happened, you know exactly what it is that I am talking about here. But just generally speaking, you're just somebody who you just know your own needs very well, you know, and you know what works for you and you know what you're looking for. And there's a lot of other people that feel very insecure about themselves in those areas that you know yourself very well. And I just feel like because of that, they feel very threatened by you because of your boundary setting, you know. Yeah, let me pull some more cards here. I'm very curious. We also have Ace of Cups. And we also have the Chariot. So you could also be a Cancer, or you could have Cancer in your chart. You could be a Cancer Sun with the Sun vibe that we have here. And then, yeah. I feel like the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Cups both being here is very satisfying because they are the beginning and, you know, the culmination point of the Cups journey. So that I feel like that really does give the sense that you're somebody that has experienced a broad range of emotions, and you are somebody that, you know, feels a broad range of emotion. You feel very deeply, and you're somebody who cares very deeply, you know? And I feel like for how deeply you care comes with a very specific set of needs, boundaries, communications, you know, everything that I've been blabbering about. And I just feel like above all else, why people don't really, they feel threatened by you is because they don't understand you, and they don't understand what it is that you've gone through. And they don't really understand that the way that you move is because of the way that you have, you know, had to stretch, in the way that you've had to, you know, exercise your own ways, you know. And when I say own ways, it's just, I don't want to keep saying boundaries, communication, etc., you know. It's just, it really is just a trail mix of all of these different things. But ultimately, it boils down to how you manage yourself in your relationships. I feel like that, once again, is really the base of it all. I feel like when people are trying to connect with you, or when people want to approach you, it's really when they feel threatened by you. I feel like those that feel threatened by you don't approach you at all. It's more of just kind of the sense of like they can tell that you're going to be that way. But I feel like, okay, so people who feel threatened by you and don't approach you, I do feel like they just immediately know that you're not somebody who's going to tolerate it, and that they can't just pull up to you half-assed. But then there are other people that do give it a chance, and they do try to connect with you, and they realize that you're not somebody who is going to, you know, just kind of like deal with it, you know. And I feel like whether or not these people are expecting it, they really do. I feel like, I don't know, like, above all else, I just feel like the way that they feel threatened by you is because you just know yourself, you know, and you know your own needs. And I really feel like there's no other way to describe it, Pile 3. I really feel like there's no need for me to kind of over elaborate on this. But I also feel like with the Chariot card and what I was saying about in the beginning is just, I also get this feeling that you have a deep sense of emotional purpose, and that you really are emotionally exalted in your own path. I feel like you're somebody who has found things, or you have, you know, because in knowing yourself very deeply as you do, it also translates into what it is that you do for your life, you know, and how you move about the 3D. And I just feel like you move with a lot of confidence and a lot of conviction. And like I said, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people that maybe haven't believed you before, and you're just like, all right, then don't believe me, you know, or don't say I didn't tell you, you know. And you go ahead and do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people that once they have understood that once about you, afterwards they're like, oh, this person is not to be dealt with, you know. I feel like there's a lot of people that the people that have underestimated you and weren't threatened by you in the beginning are not only now threatened by you, but they are also sorry, you know, they are sorry for themselves. But yeah, I feel like the Chariot card, you know, whenever I think about the Chariot, I think about the duality aspect of it because of the Rider-Waite-Smith, the imagery of those two sphinxes, and they're both black and white. And also on top of that, I just feel like the Chariot, you know, is about home. It's about, you know, family. It's about moving forward. It's about direction. It's about movement. And I just feel like you're somebody who is constantly moving, somebody who is constantly taking one foot in front of the other. And I feel like less progressive personalities or people that may feel stuck, they're very threatened by that because they don't know how you're constantly able to make moves and how you already know your next step, you know. There's a lot of people that don't understand that because they don't know how to do that, you know. They're used to other people doing it for them, or they're used to just staying in one spot, or they're used to just being, you know, pushed into something that they should have gone into a while ago, you know. You're just very good at setting goals and achieving them, you know. And I feel like that's one of those things where it's kind of like silly to be threatened by, but there's a lot of people that don't know how to do that, you know. And I feel like pile 3, if you don't understand that, it's really not for you to understand because these people are so starkly different from you in the ways that you just neither of you would really understand, you know. And I feel like that's why these people feel threatened by you, is because they feel like you're doing something right that they're not, you know, or that they feel like you know something more than them, or that, you know, that you are making more progress than them, even if you yourself feel like you still haven't gotten to where you have gotten. It's just the fact that you never sit still, or you never sit in one spot and you think about it. You're a doer, you know what I mean? And I feel like being a doer, especially nowadays, gets you so much more farther than being a thinker. But I feel like, you know, you're a doer and a thinker, you know, and I feel like that really just threatens people because I feel like they're one or the other. But once again, with that duality aspect, I feel like it really does boil back down to the fact that you are somebody that is able to encompass both, you know. It's just like a very beautiful energy, you know. Whenever I think of Cancerian energy, and once again, you don't have to be a Cancer or have any of those placements. It's just that vibe of, you know, whenever I think of Cancer, excuse me, I just think of, you know, a crab moving, you know. Cancers always know, excuse me again, oh my gosh, they just always know what to do. They always know how to put one foot in front of the other, and they always know how to keep moving and how to slowly move towards their goals, you know. And it's just, they really are the definition of slow and steady wins a race. And I feel like you are so that kind of person of slow and steady wins a race, in that you will set a pin down and it may take you a while to get there, but you are going to get there. And I feel like that unwavering conviction and confidence that you know what you want and that you are going to get there one way or another, people just feel very threatened by you. And I feel like those that do feel threatened by you have tried making fun of you, you know. They've tried looking down on you. There are people that have tried to, you know, like make fun of you and stuff like that, you know, and be like, oh, like you ain't never gonna get there and stuff like that. I just feel like there are people that have tried to put you down simply because they can see that you are moving towards something that they gave up on a long time ago. And, you know, why it didn't work out for them, we'll never know. But I just feel like it's just that sense of the fact that you are making something work in areas of life that where other people have met up with failure. And at the first sign of failure, they gave up. Cancers, they don't do that. When they meet up with failure, they just keep moving around it, you know. They're just like, okay, we'll deal with this, you know. I'm still going to get to where I want to be, or this obviously will require some more premeditation. Anyways, let me pull an oracle card. But, you know, it's just, I feel like there's this innocence about you and this beauty about you, because you're somebody who, when somebody pulls up to you with love and compassion, you will give back tenfold. You're such a loving person, and you really do give more than you realize. But I feel like the moment somebody tries to reach a little bit too far or grasp at straws with you, you become very mean, or you're somebody who just does not have it, you know. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are not threatened by you because they know that they can't just like take advantage of you, or they know that you're not somebody that is going to deal with that, you know. Especially because I feel like a lot of these people have maybe dealt with people beforehand that they could successfully exploit, and upon meeting you, they realize, oh, I cannot do that, you know. And I just feel like with the King of Swords, you have something to say. You're not going to be somebody that just sits there and is like, oh, you know, like, just don't do that. And you're like, no, why did you do that? You know, tell me, you know? And I feel like, I do feel like with the King of Swords, you have a way of making people feel very silly, or you have people making people, you're good at embarrassing people, or you're very good at making somebody feel real stupid about what they tried and did. Why do people feel threatened by pile 3? Why do people feel threatened by pile 3? Why do people feel threatened by pile 3? Oh. We have sextile with potential. Ooh, I like that word. Talents. I'll read you all the keywords because I do feel like these are all very... It says talents, stimulation, relationship friendly, communicative, creative, expressive, cooperation, encouraging, inspiring, helpful. I don't know why, but there's a lot of people that are no longer in your life, or people that are no longer able to connect with you or reach you. They feel especially threatened by you because they realize how much you bring to the table. I feel like there's a lot of people that are very sorry for themselves because of the way they treated you, because they know that you are a formidable ally, or that you are a formidable person to have around, you know, or to be able to connect with. Like, that's just how pure and beautiful your soul is. And I feel like that's so, that goes back to that Cancer energy. I feel like Cancer love is so underrated. I don't know how to describe it, y'all, but what I'm trying to say here, pile 3, I feel like some people are threatened by the amount of love you're able to give, you know? I know that may sound a little bit silly to say, but it's just, especially in this day and age, it's difficult to find genuine, wholesome, watery, beautiful love. And I feel like the fact that you're able to offer it in the most genuine, authentic, and pure way, there's a lot of unhealed people that feel threatened by that, because they just, like, it makes them see themselves, you know? It makes them see how hurt and damaged they are. And they don't really understand that you did the work to make sure that your love was that way. You know, you have your fair share of battles, and you have your fair share of trials and tribulations that you had to go through in order to be who you are today. And they don't really see that, you know, because you just are the way that you are now. And I feel like there's a lot of unhealed and damaged people that see you and they immediately feel threatened because they just feel like you embody everything that they want to be, or they just envy you in that sense, you know? And it really makes them upset or embarrassed or angry, you know? And I feel like this whole reading, I've been kind of approaching it in the sense that, like, oh, people are threatened by you because of the way that you're able to protect yourself, and the way that you will not tolerate your love being exploited. But I feel like above all else, it really is all forms of love, you know? Setting boundaries, respect, you know, all these things are a form of love and a form of care. Boundaries are love, and I feel like it just goes back to the fact that you are a loving person, and that you are such a good person with, you know, a strong belief system, and somebody who does move about their life with faith in themselves and faith in the world and faith in humanity and how things work out. And the fact that you're able to see that light, and the fact that you're able to, you know, continue to cultivate your own love and fill up your own cup and your own inner reservoir. People are threatened by that because there's a lot of codependent people, or people that feel like they can't cultivate things for themselves the way that you're able to do it, you know? They feel like they aren't able to give themselves what you're able to give yourself, you know? And there's a lot of people that aren't willing to do the work, or aren't willing to wait around the way that you have. And because of that, they just feel threatened by you. And they know that they can't just get to you, know? They know they can't just take it from you or try and cheat their way through it, because, sorry, newsflash, but you aren't having it, you know? You're just like, if you're going to try to take what's mine, and you're going to try and take advantage of me, you have another thing coming, you know? I think I'm just going to sum up your reading, pile 3, by saying that there is a lot of things that people feel threatened by from you. But I say the biggest thing is your love. The way that you love yourself, and the way that you're able to truly love others, and the way that you're able to truly love things and do what you love, approach what you love, and work for what you love, you know? Because there's a lot of people that feel like they can't do any of that. And I feel like these are the people that feel most threatened by you, because I kept getting this vibe of people feel sorry about how they've done you or how they have treated you, because they're just now realizing that you are not somebody that was doing it out of hate or out of distaste or, you know, bad vibes or whatever else it may be. You're doing it out of love, and I feel like these people are starting to understand that. But I feel like above all else, people feel threatened by you because you do things for love and you do things out of love, whether it be for yourself, whether it be for them, whether it be for whatever, you know. But the point is that it is in the name of love. And there's a lot of people that feel threatened by that because they have been taken so far away from love, and they just got bitter instead of doing the work that you did. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 3. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those on my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye. Hello, Pile 4. If you chose this orange pumpkin, this is going to be your reading for why do people feel threatened by you. Now, in today's reading, it's going to be, okay, the way I'm formatting it is I'm going to do tarot, then an oracle deck, then tarot, then an oracle deck. Hope that makes sense. Anyways, let's get right into it. Why do people feel threatened by Pile 4? I just kind of wanted to do a lighter reading today, or a reading that's more interesting, you know, instead of like, I don't know how to describe it, you guys. This is just a reading I would like to watch at this time. Why do people feel threatened by Pile 3? Okay. For you, we have 3 of Pentacles. And then we also have the Fool. And we also have the Magician. Girl, you're able to just make things appear out of thin air. I don't know. I really don't know how else to say it. I just feel like with the Fool card and 3 of Pentacles, first of all, I feel like you're very social, or I feel like you're extremely good with people. And I feel like there are people that are really threatened by that. I feel like being social is low-key something that people feel threatened by nowadays, simply because I just feel like there's a lot of people that don't know how to navigate situations, you know? And even outside of that, I just feel like the Fool card with the 3 of Pentacles and the Magician card, honestly, all the cards that we see so far just suggest a personality and somebody that is really able to manifest things and really able to work and, you know, network and meet people and meet situations to get them to where they need to be, you know? Like, it just seems as if though with the Fool card, you may literally seem like you're always having fun, or that you're always going on an adventure, you know? And I feel like, so this kind of red and white pattern here is making me think of those classic picnic blankets. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I feel like picnics are very innocent and they're very sweet and definitely a smaller thing in life. And I feel like it's one of those things that makes me feel like you're somebody who's able to, enjoy the finer things in life, or that you're able to find, oh my gosh. I don't know why, but readings, when I do film, I either get very congested or I start burping. It's weird. Anyways, the whole picnic thing. What I'm trying to say with that is I just feel like there's a sense of, whenever I think of picnics, I think of sunsets. I think of, you know, outdoors, you know. It's truly just simplicity at its finest, you know. I feel like you're somebody who's able to find beauty, happiness, and excitement in simplicity. I just feel like you're somebody that's very easy to be satisfied, and not in a bad way, but more so you find deep satisfaction in things that people wish that they could find satisfaction in. And I feel like that's why they feel threatened by you. I feel like there's people that feel like they're doing something wrong, or they feel like there's something more. I don't know. I just feel like people... Okay, so this is going to be a very random thing that I just thought of. But I thought of this TikTok, and this girl, she was dancing because she was hangry and she was finally getting her food. And there was somebody in the background looking at her with the stink eye. And the reason that I feel like I'm thinking of that, it just makes me feel like you're somebody who's happy, you know? You're able to find satisfaction in simpler things, and you're not looking for some crazy, Morse code written, locked behind the gates of whatever, and you have to climb 1,000 steps to go find it. You find happiness with where your feet are right now. You find beauty in wherever you are. If you're placed in a park, you will find beauty in the grass that your feet are on. You will find beauty in the clear blue skies. You will find beauty in the tables, the people, the trees. You're not going to be thinking about, oh, I wish I was, at Malibu, or I wish I was, in Europe right now, or Paris, or I wish I was, in Canada or something. You really don't wish for anything outside of the circumstances you are within, and you're able to truly enjoy a moment. I feel like you're just somebody who's able to find true excitement and true fulfillment in the moment. I feel like with this comes some deep philosophies, and comes a lot of learning and a lot of lessons that have guided you to living in the moment. Because there's something about this that gives me the sense that I don't know why, but I'm just getting this vibe that you too used to be just like these people. And even if you weren't, I just feel like you understand these people. And I feel like these people feel threatened by you, because I just feel like they feel like you figured something out, or that they are on the wrong track. I just feel like there are people that feel like they're doing something wrong, because it just seems as if though you are so much happier. And this doesn't, I'm not saying that you are problem free, or that you don't have any issues in your life. I just feel like you very much understood your life, and you understand that there are always going to be problems, and you know what you're up against right now. And even then, I just feel like you're very good at coping, and I feel like you're very good at getting over things and moving along with your life, because I just feel like you're not really down to waste time. Also, with the Three of Pentacles, I'm noticing all these depictions of the earth. I'm seeing the monstera, I'm seeing the ferns and the flowers and the people and the grapes. I just feel like you might be a material girl, or you might be somebody who really does enjoy the finer things in life, and that is already one thing that people feel threatened by you, because they know that they can't just run up on you with some janky stuff. But when I saw the monstera leaves here, or whatever leaves those are, I think those are monstera leaves, it makes me think of those people that are very into plants, or people that really love plants. And I feel like the reason that's relevant is because it really does feel as if though you're able to take care of yourself in a way that a lot of people wish that they could. Because it's obvious to me that with all that I've mentioned, you know how to take care of yourself, and you know self-care, at least to a degree, enough to keep your head above water and to keep yourself away from bad habits. And there's a lot of people that feel threatened by that simply because they don't know how to do that. But also, when I was saying, the whole plant thing, the people who are in the plant community, and people who love plants, just like how people are in the tarot community, I love this. I love reading cards. I love doing this. I am insanely grateful that I'm able to offer this to people. And when people tell me that, anyways, enough about me. What I'm trying to say here is, people in the plant community, they love plants. They love what they do. They love talking about plants. They love selling plants. They love growing plants. They love filming about plants, whatever it may be. And when someone does something that they truly love, you can see it, and you can see it on their entire demeanor. And I feel like you're just that kind of person. I feel like you're somebody who is so much more emotionally exalted. I almost said exhausted. Can you imagine? Exalted within their own being and their own body and what they do. I feel like there's also a level of you really love your body for what it is, and you clearly take care of your body, and there's obviously people that are going to be threatened by that no matter what. And this is just very beautiful energy piled for, because I just feel like you found your place in this world, or you have found what works for you, at least for now, or that you're always finding what works for you, or you're always finding the beauty in things. You're just a very optimistic person, I feel. And there's a lot of people that feel threatened by that because they themselves are not optimistic. They don't know how you can see things working out. They don't know how you're able to see the beauty in where your feet have landed and where they could have landed or where they have landed, you know? They don't know how you're able to just look at the moment for what it is, you know? And I feel like you're just also very good with your hands. With the Magician card, I feel, you know, the cup, and it just makes me see this vibe of you're somebody who's always growing because you know exactly what it is that you need, and you have the tools accessible to you because you have made an effort to allow them to be accessible to you, because you manifest them to you, you know? You understand that once you change your mindset, your circumstances change, you know? I just feel like you found something, you cracked the code on something, you know? You're a master manifester. You found what has worked for you, and there's a lot of people that just feel threatened by that, you know? And what I mean by that is I feel like manifestation comes very differently for all of us. I feel like the way that we manifest differs, you know? Obviously some people, they, you know, they take baths, or some people do affirmations, some people write things down, some people script, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's just, we all have different ways of manifesting, and not always are going to work for us, you know? But I feel like you have found what really works for you, not only in manifestation, but in this life, or in this moment, or in the present moment, or as of late, you know? Whatever it may be, you know? You've just always found what works for you, and what is appropriate for you, and what you deem as good. And there's a lot of people that don't understand how you do that. There's a lot of people that don't understand how you're able to find beauty and find what works, you know, and how you're able to cope and see the good, you know. There's a lot of people that aren't able to see that, you know, and I feel like for these people, you feel bad for them, or, you know, at least that's what I would think, you know. Obviously, how you feel about them is your decision and up to you. But what I'm trying to say here is that I can tell that you don't have a bad bone in your body, and you really never have had negative intentions, and that you really have taken it upon yourself to heal yourself and to do the work on yourself in order to love your life, and to, because you knew, I feel like you found out very early on that nothing's going to change for you, and that you have to step in and make things different, you know? Anyways. Let me pull an Oracle card. Why do people feel threatened by pile 4? Oh, card just fell right out. Ooh, we have attraction with we have Libra and number 34 and the Pansy. Oh my gosh, this made me think of so many different things. So here goes. First of all, I feel like there's a lot of people that you're just a conventionally attractive person. Girl, if you enjoy the finer things in life, you yourself are probably a finer thing in life. Don't even run up on me and like play games about it and be all like, girl, shut up. No, just stop. Go ahead and go to my what makes you most attractive video and see for yourself. Anyways, so I think the pansy is a very significant flower, especially to me, because, okay, so little backstory. When I first started Animal Crossing, I remember I had pansy as my island flower, and I freaking loved them, you know. You know, I didn't even know what the other island flowers were. I just knew I loved the fact that I had pansies, you know. And I feel like that's so you. You don't even think to what else is there, you know, what other options is there. You are given what you are given, and you freaking love it, you know. I feel like you're really able to make the best of any situation, or you're really able to make the best of what it is that you are given. And I feel like there's a lot of people that feel very threatened by that. But yeah, maybe sometimes you can be even seen as like you have your head in the clouds or something. But yeah, I just feel like, oh my gosh, the attraction card, girl, do I need to say anything more? Like, you're a magnetic and a powerful person, because of the influence you have, especially with the 3 of Pentacles. You're very beautiful to the masses, pile 4. I'm not even, please stop arguing with me on this. If you are, I don't know. I just feel like you're very modest, and you're very beautiful, and you're just very peaceful, you know? And you really stay in your own lane, and you have taken responsibility for your peace and happiness to some degree, and people already feel threatened by that, because there's a lot of people that cannot do that. You are done pointing fingers, And you very much understand that when you point a finger, you have three pointing back at you. And you have really taken upon yourself, you know, and this shows in your manifestation, you know, because you've understood that as you take things into your own matters, you become the creator of your own reality, you know, or something like that. And it's very beautiful because I just feel like the amount of gratitude and the amount of beauty that you're able to find in anything is truly amazing. And I also just feel like randomly you're able to make anything look beautiful. Like, for example, somebody, there's a sweater and it's like absolutely hideous, and then you put it on and the sweater just immediately looks cute. You know, there's this person that's like, you know, maybe other people don't think it. There's a lot of people. There's this person, nobody wants them. Everyone thinks they ugly, but then suddenly when you was dating them, suddenly everyone wants this person, you know? I just feel like that's so the vibe, you know? I just feel like you make things look good. You just... And I feel like because of that, there's a lot of people that want to be around you, or there's a lot of people that want your influence or want your attention because they feel threatened by you, and they feel like if they have your attention or if they have your approval, it's kind of the sense of like, haha, they approve me, what are y'all gonna do, you know? I feel like some people even go as far as to be like, well, Pile 4 thinks I'm cute, so I don't know why you're out here calling me ugly. Oh my gosh, guys, random little anecdote. I remember one time I was at Target. This was so funny. I just heard this girl yell, don't ever call me ugly because I'm not ugly, you know? And I feel like that's so you know? I feel like you know yourself, you know? You're kind of this, the sky is blue vibe. You're just like, don't ever call me ugly because I'm not ugly. And I feel like people are threatened by that. People are very threatened by people who know that they are beautiful, you know? It's one thing to be beautiful, but when you know you're beautiful, people are like, oh, you know? It's the same vibe as, you know, if you have... I don't know how to describe it in a way that's not violent. If you have a genie lamp and it grants 3 wishes, but you didn't know that it grants 3 wishes, people are already a little bit threatened because you have the lamp. But then when you know how to use the lamp and get those 3 wishes, that's when people are like, oh, calm down there, buddy, you know? Let me pull some more cards. We also have King of Swords. Interesting. Another pile got this one. I think it was pile 3. I can't even remember. And we also have the Chariot. Interesting. Yeah, we also have pile 3. Or, yeah, pile 3 also got the Chariot and the King of Swords, which I think is interesting. I shuffled the cards really good. I'll pull one more card for you guys. We also have the Tower. Okay. Don't tell the other piles I pulled one extra card for you because I only pulled 4 cards for them, but for you guys I'm pulling 5. Don't tell them. Don't snitch, okay? I'm being serious, you guys. And if you're from one of the other piles, you would not hear a thing. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyways, the Chariot card and the King of Swords really gives me the sense of the fact that you're very intelligent, and the fact that I feel like the King of Swords and the Magician card together are very much powerful duo because it suggests that you're somebody who is able to really speak things, or that you're really able to speak what you want into existence. I'm getting the vibe like my word is the law, you know? And I feel like with the Tower card, the Chariot, and King of Swords, you have a good head on your shoulders. Because I feel like when, you know, something burns down or when something crashes down, it doesn't seem to affect you, or it just seems as if though you know exactly what to do, you know? It's a very beautiful energy because it just seems as if though like you're never phased, or that you don't allow circumstances to deter you from moving forward. I think the Fool card and the Tower card both being here is so cool because it just shows me that you don't see endings as endings, but rather new beginnings. Or it's just that when endings occur in your life, you're able to make a new beginning out of it. And I feel like in that being said, you're just able to alchemize energy into something good, you know? So if someone sends you disgusting, nasty, insecure vibes, you're able to just like change that energy into something good, you know? You're literally a walking energy filter. And it's truly something spectacular, but also depending on what kind of vibes somebody is approaching you with, they can feel very threatened by that, you know? I don't know, I wouldn't say it's scary, but it's one of those things where it's like, they know that they can't run up on you, or they know that some simple jealousy or wishing the worst upon you is not going to work, because you'll just turn that energy into something good, and you'll turn that into currency to manifest, and you know, and to become something even better. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are just threatened by that because they're like, how do you do that, you know? And I don't know what it is with the Tower card either, because this, this pile of ashes is being framed. It seems as if though there's very little that can actually leave you feeling stung, especially with the Cherry card. It just gives me the sense that you're always moving forward, like I said. But I really don't feel as if though you hold long-term grudges, or that you really don't hold on to things for that long. You're always moving on, or you're always processing things, And this isn't to say like you're always happy-go-lucky and you're never crying or you're never hurt or anything. You do get hurt, you're a human and you have emotions and you do become affected by things, especially with this Cancerian energy here. It's not that you don't get hurt, it's just that you don't hurt forever, whereas other people hang on to things to hurt for way longer, And the fact that that pile of ashes in the Tower card is being framed, it just makes me think that you really do appreciate the endings that have occurred in your life. It makes me think that you're somebody that looks back on your past experiences, no matter painful or, good or bad. You look at it with fondness, I feel like there's a lot of people that have maybe tried to come back into your life. This is just kind of like an obscure example, so take it for what it is. But it makes me think of, you have a nasty breakup with someone, and then they're in the wrong, and then they think that they're all right and stuff, and you're like, oh, and you're hurt about it, and you move on from it, and you find someone else. And then this person comes back, and you're like, I'm sorry, I forgive you for what you did, but I have moved on, and I'm into something new, I feel like there's a lot of people that are threatened by that, because one, being able to heal, especially nowadays, is just very scary. And I feel like there's a lot of people that have maybe tried triggering you or trying to delay or outright put a stop to your healing journey because they themselves are unhealed. And listen, that is a whole other level of feeling threatened. And I think that you know exactly what it is that I am talking about here, because I feel like there's been a lot of unhealed people that have come into your life and tried to take things away from you, or that they self-soothe by taking from you or trying to stop you or whatever else may be. And I feel like you have put a stop to all of these situations. I feel like these people are put on a fast ticking timer when they think that they can exploit you or try to hurt you, And I just feel like these people feel very threatened by you, But I also just feel like I said, there's a lot of people that are from your past that are threatened by you, because they very much understand that you are somebody that can only hurt for a certain amount of time before you heal and before you move forward and before you learn from that and become even stronger, become even more formidable, And those people, they just don't know how you do that, I really feel like there's no other way to put it, Pile 4, is that these people really don't know how you do that. They don't know how you're able to turn something bad into something good, And I feel like with the King of Swords, I do think that your intuition's amazing, I must say. I feel like with the Three of Pentacles being here, along with the Chariot, King of Swords, you have an amazing intuition. And I also have to mention that we have the Two of Cups after the Magician card here on the bottom of the deck. And it just all goes to show that you're very good at reading people, and you're very good at eventually coming to conclusions about people. You have a very good judge of character, Pile 4. People are... I know they feel threatened by that, because being a good judge of character is one of those things where people realize that they thought they were getting away with something with you, and you're like, oh, hey, by the way, I saw 2222 on the camera film, the time, whatever. Anyways, I just want to throw that out there. But I just feel like there's a lot of people where you're like, hey, I'd appreciate you wouldn't, do that again, or something like that. Whatever it may be. It may be a very innocuous observation, and they're like, I didn't think you noticed, And I feel like there's a lot of people that feel very threatened by you, especially after they, you speak or you do something, because they realize that there's more to you. Or you may come off as very unassuming, or maybe people feel like you're very unassuming, or you just seem to be unassuming. Something about that, They don't expect you to be able to do what it is that you do. They don't expect for you to be able to see, hear, or chalk up the things that you're able to see, hear, and chalk up. They're very surprised. There's people that are very surprised by your observation skills. There's people that are very surprised by the amount of things that you're able to overcome, and the amount of pressure and the amount of healing you're able to handle. Yeah, I just feel like it's very interesting that the Chariot and the King of Swords and the Two of Cups are here, because those were all cards that were present in the previous pile, and I know I shuffled the deck really good. So either A, you could have been drawn to pile 3, maybe you're from pile 3, but take that into consideration. But above all else, I just feel like it goes back to the fact that, in pile 3, I was saying that they are somebody that loves, and I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like you're that similar to pile 3. I don't know, you guys, that was just a loose thought. Why do people feel threatened by pile 4? Why do people feel threatened by pile 4? Why do people feel threatened by pile 4? Okay. We have Mars. Ooh. Interesting. I feel like this is a little bit different compared to all the other cards. I feel like with the Mars card, you are an ambitious person. We have the word ambition here. I just feel like this combined with the King of Swords shows that, like, maybe with the... Okay. So with the Three of Pentacles and the Fool card, you may seem as a very, like, charming, loving, sweet person. And not that you aren't those things, but I feel like with the Mars card, the Tower, the Chariot, and the King of Swords, and the Magician, you're surprisingly driven. And that although some people may not understand what it is that you're doing, or they may feel like, I feel like this more so applies to people who don't know that much about your business, like, what you're going through. But it's just, as people get to know you, and as people find out about you, and when people meet you, and as, as people get to know you and understand more of you, they realize that you're a very driven person, and that you're very, assertive, and that you will do whatever it takes, And I feel like you're very assertive in your own right, and you're surprisingly brazen. You know what this makes me think of? It makes me think of Isabel from Encanto, because I remember I read this comment on this video, and it was like a music video from the movie, and it was like, Luisa comes off as very strong, very, head, weight, carries everything on the family and stuff. But as you find out more about her, especially in her songs, she's actually quite soft, and she knows herself very intimately. Whereas Isabel, she comes off as very sweet and very soft, and, very much everything's hidden beneath a veneer of flowers and, beautiful things. But as you know more about her, she's actually very brazen, very driven, and actually quite spunky, And I feel like that's you, I feel like people are very surprised and even threatened by how much, how brazen you are, and how flamboyant you are, and how much you are actually a driven person, and that you put a foot in front of the other, and that you are always working towards something, I feel like I'm just going to sum up your reading pile 4 by saying that people are just very surprised by the fact that your demeanor is actually quite different from your inner world, and that your inner world, you're actually a very driven individual, and that you're somebody who's ambitious, very strong, and surprisingly, you just know yourself very well, and it surprises people, because I feel like with the way that you come off, you can come off as very naive or very, innocent and childish, but I feel like that's one of those things that people can also feel threatened by, is just the sheer fact that you're able to enjoy the moment, and you're able to enjoy the finer things in life, and that you're able to find happiness and beauty and take action from no matter where you are and no matter where you have been placed, It just, with the Mars card and the King of Swords and all the, just this whole reading, people are very threatened by the fact that you're able to make do with whatever circumstances you're presented, find beauty, and take action no matter what, It doesn't matter if the world's against you, you will still find beauty, you will still have fun, yet you will still find a way to overcome these problems and overcome these issues and do what it is that you need to do, and you will always know your next step. But this doesn't seemingly take away from your innocent and fun demeanor, in the sense that you're able to find beauty in everything. I think that's really above all else. People are threatened by the fact that you're able to make do with whatever you're given. So yeah, that's all I have for you, Pile 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope the reading resonated, and if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like a personal reading from me, I do offer those in my Etsy shop, which will be linked down below. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Again, I love you. Bye.